What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, Mo Hunt Silver. For tonight's video, we are going to have a 2-box nickel hunt. We got 2 boxes of nickels. That is 100 rolls to hunt. And this will be Nickel Hunt and Fill number 27 of the series, boxes 38 and 39. As we're trying to fill these albums right here, get them as full as we can with as nice of examples as we can as well. And the last episode, we did add 3 Jefferson nickels to the album, and I believe 1 Buffalo nickel as well. So I'm hoping in this episode we can do the same, add a couple more spots and get a couple more spots filled, especially in that Buffalo nickel album. But we will also be looking for any kind of Silver War nickels, proof nickels, errors, varieties, foreigns, or anything else cool. And these are circulated boxes. This box here does have 1 ender, and box number 39 has 2 enders. So we'll have to see what we can find. Hopefully some Buffaloes, maybe another V-nickel, who knows. Also, guys, if you haven't seen the last episode, you might want to check it out, because I did find a V-nickel, and I will put a link in the upper right-hand corner for you guys to go check that video out, if you so choose. Also, for anybody that's new to the channel, and if you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and a thumbs up if you like the video. All right, let's get into this hunt. And just to let everybody know how I'm going to structure the video is, I'm going to hunt 5 rolls across in a row like this right here. And if I don't have any finds, I'll be, like any good finds, I will do a recap of those 5 rolls. But if I do have something cool to show you, while hunting the 5-roll row, I will be filming that when I find it. So that's how the video is going to go. And I actually did crack into roll number 1 already. And I do have something to show you guys. Oh, as they just exploded, but the 4th coin in from the end on this roll happened to have a strange color. So I took a peek at it. And we are going to have, if I can get it out of there, a wartime silver nickel. Because this is what I saw when I took a peek. I saw that P mint mark. And then that is going to be a Philadelphia Minute 1943. And just from looking at it, doesn't look like it has the 3/2. And that double die would be really hard to see if it did have it. But that's cool. So we're going to have silver right off the bat for the hunt. And this is 35% silver composition. Awesome find to start the hunt with. All right, guys, row number 1 is hunted. And we got a total of 6 finds out of row number 1. 2 of them being 2024 Philadelphias. It's good to see some of those. We did get the 1943 Philadelphia Silver War nickel. A 1959 out of Denver, I believe this one is. Yes. And then a 1959 out of Philadelphia. And a 1947 out of Denver. So we'll move on to row number 2. Row number 2 gave us no finds. So we'll move on to row number 3. Row number 3 will give us 2 finds. A 1952. And that one is going to be out of Philly with some chop damages here. And a 1940 that is also going to be out of Philadelphia. So we'll move on to row number 4. All right, guys, row number 4 is going to give us 2 finds, one of them being a 1940. And that is going to be a Denver minted example. And then also a 1953. That is a Denver example as well. and not in horrible shape. Actually looks pretty decent for being a 53. But we'll now move on to row number 5 and see what else we can find in here. Row number 5 was a little more productive, giving us 5 total finds. We did find a 2009 out of Denver in this set. Kind of beat up, but I'll take it. A 1954, and this one is going to be out of Denver. A 1947, this one will be out of Philly. And then we got a 1946 out of Philly, not the Henning. And a 1949, also out of Philly. So we'll move on to row number 6 and see what we can find. Row number 6 is going to give us 5 more older Jefferson finds. First one here being in 1954 out of Denver. And then a really beat up 1947. I believe it's a Philly. I can't tell 100% though. This thing looks like it was in a acid bath or something. It's pitted up really, really badly. And then a badly damaged 1953 out of Philadelphia. A 1953 out of Denver this time. And a 1948. And I believe this one's going to be, out of Denver as well. All right. So we'll move on to row number 7. Row 7 is only going to produce 2 older Jefferson finds for us. We have a 1958, and that one is going to be out of Denver, and a kind of cruddy 1959. And I believe that one was a Denver as well. So let's see what row 8 will give us now. Row 8 is going to give us 1 sole older Jefferson nickel, a 1958 out of Denver. So we'll move on to row 9. Just working through the last roll of row number 9. And I believe we have another silver in this box right here. It just has that color, and it is very slick. And yes, we do. 1943. And that one is going to be a San Francisco. Sweet. I'll take that, even though it's slick. All right, let me hunt through the rest of these coins, and I'll be back for the quick wrap-up of row 9. All right, guys, I finished going through that roll, the last roll of row number 9. And we did have another find in that roll. There was a 1947 out of Philadelphia. So that will be 1 find there. We got the 43 San Francisco silver. Also found the 1948 out of Philly. The 1941 out of Philly. And a 1954 that is kind of trash out of Denver. So let's get these last 5 rolls in row 10 hunted, and we'll do a quick box wrap up and move on to box number 2. Row number 10 is going to finish us off in this box with 3 more older Jefferson finds. We have another 1947, and that one is going to be a Denver example. A 1953, and that one's going to be a Philadelphia example. And a 1940, which is also going to be a Philadelphia example. And I'll be right back with a quick box wrap up. All right, a real quick wrap up on box number 1 of the video. We did get 3 modern key date coins, I guess you can say, or semi-key dates. 2 2024 Philadelphias and 1 2009 Denver. We did get a total of 15 from the 40s out of this box, 2 of them being 35% silver, and then 13 50s out of this box. So that's not bad. That's a really good box, especially with having 2 silvers in it there. So we'll move on to box number 39 of the series. This one has 2 enders, and we'll see what else we can find for this hunt. All right, guys, I'm working on roll number 4 of row 11 of this hunt. Just laid it out, and I had to bring you in because we're going to have a proof in this box. And we can uncover this to see what the date of it is. And it looks like that's going to be a 1969. Wow, that's decent age there. And it doesn't look too bad either for being in circulation, honestly. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'll put a mintage below on this one. That's nice. That's a sweet find right there. All right, I'll keep working through this roll and be back with a wrap-up of row 11. Row 11 is going to finish us out with 3 finds. That 1969 S proof. We also found a 1957, and I believe this is a Denver example. Yes, it is. And a 2009 Philadelphia low mint. All right, pretty sweet. So we'll move on to row 12 and see what this one holds. I'm back with the finds from row number 12, and this row is going to give us 4 more finds for the hunt. First one is going to be a 1941 out of Philadelphia. Then we had 2 from the 50s, a 1955 that is really dirty, and that one's from Denver. And then a 1958, which is also from Denver. And we found the first 2024 Philly of this box. And it's in pretty good shape. Does not look bad. So we'll put that up here with the 2009 Philly. And move on to row 13. Row 13 will give us 4 more decent finds here. We have a 1940 to start with, and that's going to be out of Denver. A 1959, also out of Denver. And a 1941, that is going to be from Philadelphia. And then we also found the second 2024 Philly of this box. The steps actually look pretty nice on this one. Yeah. Sweet. So we'll move on to row 14 and see what this one can give us. Row 14 is going to give us 1 sole find, and it's going to be the third 2024 Philadelphia for this box. And again, not in bad condition. All right. So we'll move on to row 15 and see what else we can find in there. Row 15 is now hunted, and we're going to have 3 finds in row 15. First one is going to be a 1954, and that is going to be a Denver example. And then we did find the fourth 2024 Philadelphia nickel in this box. And again, this one's in pretty good shape as well. Not bad at all. And then I believe I found a die clash, not a very strong one, kind of a minor one, but a die clash on a 1964 Denver. And if I tilt the coin, you can see above the building some clash marks. There's not really much underneath the building. And then on the obverse side, there is a little bit of clashing that comes out of the back of his neck and that area right there as well. There you can see it. The camera's going to focus when I tilt it. But that's pretty sweet. I think I will hold on to that for the hunt. And now we can move on to row 16. All right, guys, row number 16 was a pretty productive row. We got quite a few finds here. Looks like 8 altogether out of this row. So I'll get into what we got. We have a 1986 out of Canada. 1956, and I believe this one is a Denver. Yes, it is. Another 2024 Philadelphia. A 1940 out of Philly. 1959. This one's also out of Philly. A little bit tougher one to find right there. In good shape. A 1939, so we now have an oldest for the hunt. And that is a Philadelphia, not the DDR. And then we have a 1941, which is going to be a Philadelphia. And another 1941, which is also a Philly. So that was pretty good. And now we'll move on to row 17. See what else we can pull out of this box. Hopefully some more silver or maybe a buffalo. Second to last coin in the 4th roll of row 17. I'm bringing you guys in here because I have a 1942. I saw that I had a 1942 and I flipped it over. And it's got the Philly mint mark above the building. So this will be a 1942 Type 2 wartime silver nickel. First one for this box, and actually I think the 3rd one for this hunt. So that's pretty cool. Very nice. All right, so I have one more roll to go, and I'll be back with a recap for those 5 rolls. Okay, so row 17 is going to finish us out with 2 finds. The 1942 Philadelphia silver war nickel, and another 2024 Philadelphia. Not in bad shape again. So that'll do it for row 17, and we'll move on to row number 18. All right, this is flipping sweet, guys. I just dumped out the first roll of row 18, and the 3rd coin in. This is what I saw. We have a buffalo reverse. That is awesome. It looks pretty worn. It's going to be a Philadelphia example as well. But let's see if we have a date, because I do not know. And we are going to have a date, actually. You can just barely see. 1920. Awesome. So now that is definitely the oldest for the hunt so far. Very cool. All right, I'll finish hunting this roll and the other 4 rolls, unless we find something else sweet, and let you know what we found. Very next roll in row 18. Guys, I cannot believe what I found in this roll. It's an oh my god. I just literally dumped out this roll, laid it out like this, and flattened them out. What I first saw was this Canadian right here, but right in front of it, I cannot believe we are going to have another V-nickel. There have been quite a few of these being found in my Loomis boxes lately. I do not know what the date of this is yet, because I just saw the very edge of it and had to pick up the camera. I don't see a mint mark, so it's not going to be a 1912, but we are going to have a 1902. Wow. It's pretty flat and pretty slick. But that is crazy. Holy crap. That thing is 123 years old. All right. That's the V-nickel. And just before I picked up the camera, I flattened the coins out, like I said. And I saw this right here as well. I know we don't have a 1950 for the book, but if this has a D mint mark on the back, this could be the key date of the Jefferson Nickels. That's why I said this is an oh my god roll. All right, what do we have? Will it have a D mint mark? And it doesn't, so it's just the Philadelphia. But that is sweet because, like I said, we do need this for the book. And we now have a semi-key date for the hunt as well. And I have not found a 1950 in quite a while. So that is crazy. All right. This one here looked a little older. That's a 64. But yeah, if there's anything else hiding in here, I'll be back to share it. If not, I'll be back with the recap for row 18. All right, guys, row 18 was an excellent row for this hunt. We do have 7 finds on the board for this row. A 1984 out of Canada, another 2024 Philadelphia, and then we have 2 1954s, one of them being a Denver, and then this guy is a Philadelphia example. We did find a semi-key date, 1950, out of Philly. In this row, we also found a 1920 Philadelphia Buffalo nickel and a 1902 V-nickel in this row. So that was awesome. Great row. Very, very good. And we'll move on to row 19 and hope we can find more good stuff like that. Row 19 is going to give us 3 more finds for the hunt. 1947 out of Philadelphia. A 2024 Denver this time. So that will be a modern key date right there. And this one's in excellent condition. Just one little big gouge right there. Well, little gouge, but it's kind of deep. But other than that, the coin looks like it's in pretty good shape. So we will put that over here. And then also a 1941. And this one is going to be out of San Francisco. Very cool. All right, so we'll do the last row and see what else we can find in the last part of this box. All right, guys, the last row of the box is going to finish this out with 3 finds. We did find a second 2024 Denver. Again, not in very bad shape. Looks pretty good. Just has one rim ding right here by the date. 1940. That is trashed out of Philly. And the 1956 out of Denver. So I will get all the finds together for this box, and we'll do a box recap, a hunt recap, and then do our additions for the albums back there, if we have any, which I know we definitely do for the Jefferson Nickel album, because that 1950. But we'll have to see if there's anything else, too. I'm back with all the finds out of box number 2 of this hunt. And this box produced a total of 40 finds for us for this video. And I'll get right into what we got here because there is quite a bit and quite a few things. But we do have one 1939 out of Philadelphia. We did get a total of 10 from the 40s. I have 9 of them right here. We got a total of 11 from the 50s. I have 10 of them right here. We did get 7 2024 Philadelphia nickels, 1 2009 Philadelphia nickel, and then 2 foreigns, both of them being from Canada. a 1986, and a 1984 beaver nickel. And then the finds of this box I have down here on the mat. We got a 1969 San Francisco proof nickel in pretty good shape. A 1964 Denver that has the minor die clash on it there, mint error. We did get two 2024 Denver nickels out of this box, both in pretty good shape. We got one silver nickel, a 1942 out of Philly. We did get one semi-key date, 1950 out of Philly in this box. A 1920 Buffalo nickel, that's out of Philadelphia as well. And a 1902 V nickel. So that is sweet. Now I'll get everything together for the entire hunt and see what we got all together. All right, guys, so what box one from the hunt was able to add to our totals here of what we found was an additional 13 from the 40s. Again, an additional 13 from the 50s. We did add, I believe, two more 2024 Philadelphia nickels to the total. We also found a 2009 Denver in box number one. And then the last things we were able to add to our hunt totals here was two silver nickels, both of them being 1943s, one from Philly and one from San Francisco. So let me pull out the albums, which I need to do right here, and we'll see if we can add any spots or upgrade any spots within the books here. So let me do that and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back after doing all the comparisons and additions for today's hunt in our books. And we are going to have two additions and no upgrades for today's hunt. And our first addition is going to be the 1950 Philadelphia semi-key date right there, 9.7 million minted. And then our second edition is going to be the 1980 out of Denver, because we actually did find a example today that is in good condition, at least good enough to put in the book, in my opinion. So that'll get us now to only needing 20 more spots filled, and we will have an entire Jefferson nickel collection from 1938 all the way up to 2024. That is awesome. And we're only 39 boxes in. So I would say that is some great progress. And a lot of these later Jefferson nickels that we have in the book, and there's another book that goes after this because this one only goes up to 1995. But most of the nickels pre 1960 are the ones we need work on still, because everything else 1960 and later, we do have pretty good examples in the books. So that is awesome. And we did find 3 silvers in today's hunt, so we can add those into the silver jar right there. So we're starting to get some silver accumulated in the jar finally. And I believe that's going to do it for this hunt. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're new and have not done so yet. It would be greatly appreciated. And thanks for watching the video. We'll see you on the next one.